B-Bad and Brandon.
Week on the safety bar, and that sucked.
Yeah, it's so humbling when you come back.
Yeah,
And
I
you're
was like, I squatted 200 more kilos the week before.
yeah.
Literally, and easily. Like I could have done more, but 60 was the right amount for that day. That was
Bro,
huge.
I fucking
I was
commend you.
fucking sore for days.
I'm still sore from like that session I did with Nicholas on Tuesday. We did back, and I've been like recovering, stretching, everything, and I'm like, my lats are still fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Search for the perfect angle.
Yeah.
Well, he is the perfect.
He'd have
angle.
a few angles.
We trained this morning, like him, me, Jamie, Doc,
Yeah.
shoulders. Bro, I was saying to Johnny before, like I'm cooked. I'm like just.
I don't know what it is about shoulder sessions. It's like because they're so small, like such a small muscle group, right? But for some reason, you can really fry yourself.
A lot of angles available.
Yeah.
I reckon that's
And
it.
a lot of exercises available.
Yeah.
Like you could do a bit of bench, you could do some like isolation raises and stuff. It's just, or you could just do bent over rows, real heavy, and
fuck
you'll
back
get them. Yeah.
Like even like and we did a variation of a barbell overhead press today without like the back support, and I think that's what got me because you're just like stabilizing the fuck out. Oh man, I'm like I was on this decline. Try to stop in at 7-Eleven to get like one of those pre-mixed Barocca things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good.
Fuckers didn't have them.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
So I was like,
Particularly, I bet when you're on the way there, you've already drunk it in your head, right?
Yeah.
You've tasted it. You've had the experience. Now you just got to actually have the physical item.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck yeah, all these vitamins are going to make me feel great.
Yeah.
There's so many vitamins.
I might get one after this, actually.
You should treat yourself.
Yeah.
100%.
I've still got like at least 8 hours of the day to go.
At least.
What time is it?
It's 11.
You got heaps more hours.
Yeah.
Have 9
Fucking
or 10.
oath.
Have 9 or 10 if you want.
9 or 10 Baroccas.
Hours.
Oh.
Hours.
Treat yourself.
You imagine you imagine that colour of your pee with that many Baroccas?
Yeah, it goes like fucking...
Like that fluoro radioactive Chernobyl green or something.
Would it be bad for you? No, it'd just come out, wouldn't it?
I think vitamin C you can overdose on.
You can overdose.
Vitamin C, if you have more than I think it's about 4 grams, you're shitting yourself for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You will have diarrhea.
And magnesium is pretty bad, I think, if you go too hard on that too.
Yeah, but it's the magnesium. I think it's
like
chelate form of magnesium could be the one that if you take it, or maybe it's oxidized. I don't know. Anyway, one of the forms of magnesium, you will shit yourself. It's like when they tell you to take bicarb soda or something, like a teaspoon in water because it helps like get shit moving from your guts. What they don't tell you is you shit like a racehorse. Like it's
instant.
It's dude. Not too long after, I remember I got told to do it once because it helps.
What's
clear.
it taste like?
I don't know. I have salt water every morning. It tastes fine.
That's salty water.
I love that. But it just fucking clears you out, and you're not ready for it. She didn't warn me this fucking acupuncturist. So I've gone to the toilet, and it's like,
oh, here we go.
Lack of a better term, and I know, Marshall, you've been in the army, so this is, you probably, I don't know if you can relate, but it was like a machine gun just firing out of my ass. So.
The worst part is not the first bit. It's like when it comes again, you know what I mean? And you're in a bit of pain now, and you're just like, I just don't know if I can do this again 3 or 4 more times.
What do you do when you're like out fucking doing some like army exercise or something?
You just do whatever you can. Yeah, like I've been caught out, because the food they give you, right? It's pretty hit and miss. Like you got these things called rat packs, right? And they're just a big plastic bag of like
food.
Yeah, food,
kind of food,
astronaut food that fucking lasts forever, And you got M&Ms in there from like 1993.
Fuck.
And dude. They're like you pull the chocolate out, and they've got army brand chocolate, right? That's made, all of it's made in New Zealand, and they fucking ship it over here. And you open the chocolate packet, and it's like all white.
Oh god!
Even though it's supposed to be brown, it's just got this like white film over the top of it.
Oh god!
But all the food in the rat pack is designed to clog you up, right? So that you're not shitting, and it's like nutrient dense, but basically just full of sugar, right? For those like energy highs.
Yeah,
they're just trying to keep you going for however many days you're on this stuff,
and hopefully not too many toilet stops while you're doing it.
Exactly, and they put canned cheese in there that's just basically designed as a stopper for your asshole. Like you just there's nothing left after that, and so you might shit once a day or once every 2 to 3 days. You get some guys that'll just get clogged up for like a week, man.
Surely that's painful,
dude. It's pretty fucked up.
And you're expected to do it. Fuck.
But you might get caught out, or they might bring these things called it's just like freshly cooked food. They might bring them out to you, like just as a treat one day.
Oh, treat.
And that stuff will just mess with your whole system. You've been on rat packs for a few days, and then you eat this, and and I've been in situations where I'll be like out nowhere near a toilet or anything. I don't have any of my kit. I'm just like patrol gear, so just it's called webbing. It's like body armor and stuff, and just your rifle. And I've had to dig a hole with a fucking knife this long, just in the ground, like trying to, like, fuck, I've got to take a shit, dude, digging a hole in the fucking back of a hill with a combat knife, shit in that, just scrape it over, find like a soft looking leaf, and then just deal with it.
Follow-up question. This was how did you wipe it all off?
You just find the nicest looking leaf around. But the rat packs actually come with not toilet paper. Oh, actually, yeah, I guess it is considered toilet paper. It's just like a plastic packet full of white paper, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's after you've done a year or two, you fucking figure out there's certain things you should be carrying on you at all times. And one of them is that, man. You just carry a pack of that in one of your shoulder pockets or something, and if the moment strikes, you're always prepared.
That's always insane.
But it does take a little while to learn.
You got to learn that one a few times.
Yeah.
There's a few leaves.
Is there
been used?
Like few older heads in the fucking.
Oh, yeah, but that's the stuff they're never going to tell you.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get to that point, you're like, I suffered through
They want you to shit yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did, So,
back in my day.
Yeah, back in my day. But there's some tricks in a place called Tully, which is the jungle. That's the jungle training centre, like middle Queensland near like Airlie Beach and stuff. And they've got some really soft looking leaves there, right? But these leaves are not good. They're called gimpy. And if you touch them, they leave these little spines in your skin.
God.
And the spines are they have a hole through them, so they've got this venom on the leaf. And then the spine will stick into your skin and let the air in to touch the nerve. And it's probably one of the worst pains you can ever imagine. And I'm sure there's been more than a few people, that have mistaken this. And they are lovely looking trees. Like
that's a nice looking leaf.
Yeah, you see it and you just go, well, it looks a bit furry, that's soft. And they're big sized, kind of the big heart-shaped leaf, you're looking at it like, that's an asshole leaf right there. Yeah. Like, that's a wiping leaf. And you will never make that mistake twice, man. I tell you what, they are horrible.
Is that another stitch up from the people that have been around for a while? They're less likely to partake that information down.
I mean, when you go to Tully, they do take you through a bit of a like jungle walkthrough. Like, here's the stuff you shouldn't touch, and here's the stuff you should touch.
Yep.
Which is not a lot, really. And that's one of them. But I mean, as a young digger in the military, you don't retain a lot of that information. You're not a botanist, You're kind of just there for the ride. Yep. So
fucking hell, man.
Yeah. Those, and they'll get you through your clothes too. Those bushes will sneak up on you.
Jesus, you'll be just wandering around.
Yeah. If you brush up against it, it's there. And the best way to get them out is just like some duct tape or something. Stick it on your skin and wax it off, basically. Yeah, because if you can't get the spines out, you'll feel it for weeks.
Mate, that's
ew. I don't want that.
Yeah, the army's not like a fun place. Everything is out to get you, including the flora and fauna of Australia.
The one thing you don't expect.
Yeah. You'd think like
I've got enough fucking things to worry about here.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'm going to think about is that fucking good-looking tree over there.
Yeah.
Trying to fucking cause me nerve pain.
The worst thing about Tully really is it's what they call like very conventional training. So it's not very fun. It's like stuff from Vietnam era tactics, all designed to help you survive in basically one of the worst environments in the world. The jungle is just not a good place to fight in, basically. It's just not friendly, and like I said, the flora and fauna is all dangerous. It's a bad time.
Everything's
so
fuck you
all
up.
the training is really like strict and regimented, and on top of that, if you're this new guy in this environment and you're not thinking, you're just getting stung with everything. Like you'll sit down at the end of a day and there you go. There's a bush right there because it's everywhere and it'll just get you.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
dear.
intense.
Yeah.
How long were you in the army for?
6 years, dude.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You signed up as a young fella?
I was 19 when I got in.
Because you're a bit older now.
Yeah.
Not 19 now.
No.
Yeah, 31 now. Feeling it. Yeah, you'll age like 30 years in 5 in the army, basically. You come out, you're pretty much in infantry, you come out pretty broken, like knees, back, shoulders, are the
Yeah.
big ones.
It's just the training requirement. Carrying
Well,
the
you're
packs
carrying,
around and
yeah,
everything,
you're
right?
carrying. I don't know, like even in training now. Well, it's been a couple of years, so I don't know how much they're putting on the guys' backs, but we would. You're right. We would, because I was an instructor at a place called Singleton where they train infantry soldiers. Basically, their whole course is preparing them to do this thing called the PESA, which is a test, a fitness test that proves that you can handle the requirements of infantry. And the big one is a 15-kilometer pack march with 45 kilos total.
Gotta catch on.
Yeah, it's pretty rude, but when you train for it, it's doable. You have a time limit. It's like you have to come in between 2.5 and 2 hours 45.
Yeah, right.
So you got to do a good pace too.
Yeah, so you're going at, I think it's about 11k an hour, pretty much. Or no, maybe 6k an hour. Sorry, that's bad math.
You're moving quick.
Yeah,
you're walking fast.
Every step is like with purpose. You know what I mean? You can't really slack off. But if you go too fast, they make you wait around to cross the line.
Oh, really?
And if they're like a really rude instructor, they make you wait standing up. So you're just standing with this 45 kilo gear, just standing there waiting for minutes to pass by before they let you walk over that line.
Worse.
Because the way the test is designed is they want everybody walking at the same pace.
Yeah,
because
right.
like say you're in a big group, battalion size, you might be hundreds of people all walking to the same place across a huge area. Because everyone's spaced minimum of like 15, 20 meters apart. You just got this massive group of people and they all have to be walking at pretty much the same speed. So you have to be able to keep up. But if you go too fast, then
get punished.
Everyone else is going to be left behind. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But I think we carried like up to 70 kilos. If you carry, because I mean, the 45 kilos is designed rifle, some magazines with ammo in it, and then your body armor, helmet, and then whatever's in your pack for about 72 hours, they reckon, which is like 8 liters of water plus food, sleeping gear. But if you got a machine gun, the ammo weighs like 20 kilos by itself. So that's hanging off you. Plus, you've got the machine gun, which the rifles weigh like 4.5 kilos, but a machine gun might weigh 12.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, big one.
Man,
so,
like I always put like things like this when we're talking about adding on body weight. I think of like carrying a weight plate, or even compared to people I know. Like you wouldn't have been the weight you were now back then.
I joined the army at 75 kilos, I think, and I left at 95.
Fucking, that's good
So-
gains in
that's
5
good
years.
gains.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after I left in a couple of years, I'm now 107. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's
growing
what we like to hear.
continues.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm only going up.
Fuck, we had this discussion the other day. He's like, I might go to the hundreds.
No, I didn't say I might. I said I do not want to go to
Oh,
the
okay.
hundreds. Yeah, I'm like, please let's not go down there because I know I would be more competitive, but
Be more hungry.
I don't want to lose. Yeah, I don't want to lose the weight.
I agree.
You don't want to be more hungry.
Yeah, no, I like eating.
But as a whole, you enjoyed your time in the military there? Or?
Yeah, I definitely don't regret it, and I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And in 6 years, I managed to do a lot of things. Like I deployed overseas, went to Hawaii on it's called Exercise Rim Pack, where a bunch of nations all. Have you seen? It's like a movie with Liam Neeson, Battleship, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and
Sick
it starts
movie.
off there in this like military exercise all around Hawaii, and then like aliens rock up. or
Yeah.
something. That exercise is the exercise that I went on.
How many
But
aliens did you kill?
just none, unfortunately. Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, which was the worst part, man. That exercise, going to Hawaii, sounds like a really good time, but in the military, they find a way to just put you in the biggest shitholes in the world, no matter where.
No matter how nice the actual place is.
So we went one of these islands, man. It was like we were on Mars. Everything was red, like all the rocks were just red because of the volcanoes, obviously.
Yeah.
And you got these giant rocks made out of like that volcanic basalt or whatever it's called, and you could pick them up. These huge rocks, just like, because they're so light, they're porous. They got holes all through them.
Aliens.
Yeah.
That's
If
smart,
they're gonna
yeah.
come anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like home. But yeah, that exercise, we were on a Navy ship, a US Navy ship called the USS Essex, and it was about to be decommissioned. So that's like on its way out, right? It's been around since World War II, and the plumbing stopped working while we were on it. And we've got like Canada, Australians, Singaporeans, like Malaysians, a bunch of different people on this boat, all trying to use these toilets. And at one point, we're just wading through like shin height shit water because every time you went to take a shit, you'd have to let everyone know when you're hitting the flush button because it's going to shoot everyone's fucking toilet water back up at you. So you're going to flush and you let everyone know so everyone could stand up out of the way. Fucking shit water would fly up, and then you could sit back down and continue whatever you're doing. And then once you leave, you're just wading through all this water. A bunch of people got gastro. It was really fucked up.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It's stinky time.
Yeah. I know we talked about shit a lot in the past, like, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I promise the army isn't all shit, but it does seem to...
There is some, though.
Yeah, it seems to permeate quite a lot of the
Look,
activities.
I'm not going to lie. This is probably one of my favorite starts of podcasts we've done.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah, literally.
Literally. Fuck me. But when you were in the army, and you said you were deployed, is that where you like got your coaching certs and stuff?
No, I didn't get coaching certs until I left the army.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't really like, I went to the gym in the army. I liked it. I liked lifting weights, but I was useless at it. Right? Like it was a fun time for me, and I'm really passionate about it. Obviously now,
Yeah.
But I had the worst technique. My squat especially sucked, man. Like I cannot emphasize enough how bad my technique was.
I just for those who aren't watching, I love the smile you're getting right now. Just going
proud of how bad it was,
dude. I know. Yeah. Like looking back, I'm like, I cannot believe. But in the army, when I joined, you didn't get any help with weights.
Yeah.
So like all the fitness requirements when I joined was based around conditioning, mostly cardio fitness was a huge one. Because they just wanted infantry guys that could just go forever, like just keep running, keep walking, whatever. And then lots of push-ups. Yeah, just a shitload of push-ups. So any kind of loaded exercise, you might use like a torsion bar or something, but a barbell was foreign, man. Like you might get the occasional guys who had the time to go to the gym and like actually lift, but then it was like bodybuilding stuff, like somebody's read the Arnold Encyclopedia and you're just picking and choosing exercises.
You mean the Bible?
Exactly, yeah. I actually took that to Afghanistan with me, and that's where I kind of like started to learn more.
Yeah, right.
There's a gym. You got decent gym time.
So our trip was a real quiet trip.
Yeah.
We were over there as bodyguards, basically.
Oh yeah.
So we were just babysitting like high-ranking Australian and US officials.
Yep.
And like they would go onto the Afghan army base and try and teach the Afghan army officers how we did stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, this is how you could set up your supply lines, or this is how you could conduct your attacks, so they had like, they were upskilling them all.
Right.
But our job was just to make sure they didn't get shot. Like, because one of the biggest threats over there is called a green on blue, which is where one of the Afghan National Army soldiers has been recruited by the Taliban or something, and they decide one day to just turn on everybody and just light everyone up. So I guess one of the more complicated parts of our trip is like we're interfacing with Afghan National Army soldiers on a daily basis. We have to be friendly, we have to present this really professional attitude and try and build a relationship with everyone we're interacting with, but at the same time we have to be prepared to murder everyone because we don't know which one of them could turn. You know what I mean? So it's a pretty weird dynamic in your head. For 7 months you're kind of just not sure if this guy you've just shaken your hand is gonna shoot you in the back. You know what I mean? So weird environment to be in, but on the flip side, really quiet. Everyone came home safe, which was awesome. And that's how we kind of knew we did a pretty good job over there because nobody got shot. So that was good, and we did have quite a bit of gym time.
Nice.
Because we were pretty much stationed in the same place the whole time. So I was training twice a day, every day.
They got a good setup.
It was okay. It's just like used stuff that we've kind of just snagged from other gyms around the place.
Pieced together.
But it's enough, you would know you don't really need much to get stronger. So we would just I'd just do some cardio every morning, and then in the afternoon I'd just lift some weights, and I definitely got stronger, but it wasn't anything like crazy. It was just better than when I went over there, basically. We were reading about lifting and all sorts of things, but we didn't have any coaches. In infantry, while I was there, usually the people that would lead our fitness training were our infantry commanders,
Mm.
right?
Right.
So like if you're in a section, which is a group of 8 infantry guys, it's kind of like our combat unit. You know, you would have a lance corporal and a corporal, and usually it was up to the corporal to just be in charge of section PT. You know,
Yep.
so they would take you, and every day there's no like programming to it, or there wasn't when I was in, especially because in infantry you just don't know when you're going to be home and when you're going to be out bush or on the way. So it's like you might be one of the years, I think 2013, we were away for like 280 days out of 365. So it's like every 1 week we're away for 2 more the next time. So how can you really program anything? How can you like be consistent? So it's like one session might be just do like a circuit with the torsion bar. One session might be you go for a 5K run. Like it's just a mess, but it's anything to kind of maintain that level of fitness. As I was getting out, there's a corps in the army called PTIs. They're the physical training instructors. They're basically just strength coaches and PTs for the army. They would have much more integration into infantry units, and they tried to bring in this kind of weightlifting 3 days a week. You know, it'd have floor press, squats, some kind of deadlift, like you know, something that's like really pushing forward. They're taking some steps in the right direction. There was a lot of resistance against it because
be a lot of old heads.
And you've got like you're trying to fit a whole battalion's worth of guys, so like 1,000 dudes. How do you structure those sessions for each of them to get 3 days a week?
One turn each on the barbell.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You got 3 barbells.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of money went into setting up these battalion gyms better. So there's lots of barbells, there's lots of plates, and, you know, you're trying to lift all together. But at the time, and I was one of the people that was quite resistant to it, I like training my way. You know what I mean? What the fuck did I know? But I want to try.
You read the encyclopedia, bro. You knew everything.
Exactly. So I wanted to go to the gym on my time. I wanted to do my own sessions. I wanted to see my own progress, whatever it was. I think the weight stuff for everybody, and I think now they do weights at Kapuka. So your very first training, they're actually introducing them to the barbell then, which I think is awesome. But for me,
but even then, like Kapuka is the very first training you said, like you're gonna have very different fitness levels from guys who've just walked out of school who still don't know how to coordinate their body. And then older heads who've joined the army a little bit later on in life, like far out.
When I was instructing, so Singleton comes right after Kapuka. You do 3 months at Kapuka and then you go straight to infantry training at Singleton. So they've done a little bit, but I would have, like you said, a guy that's, 17 or 18, absolutely no idea what he's doing. And then I remember this other guy who must have been like 28, who he's squatted 220 before, he's had a pretty big bench. Like you could tell this guy's a bit older. He's trained properly and he's coming in having to do Singleton fitness, which he's just like, man, this is just such a fucking joke. Like, I'm like, yeah, I know, dude, but how do we cater for everyone? Minimum standard, basically. You just have to put everyone through the same training. And then at the same time, when you're at Singleton, we're not trying to put guys out who are like competitive powerlifters. We're trying to put guys out who aren't going to break the first time they go outfield with a battalion, which is a way different experience to when you're outfield in training. Is like in training, the conditions are set so that for the most part everyone can succeed, and they really don't want people getting injured. You know what I mean? They want people to survive the training so they come to the battalion.
Yeah, that'd be a tricky component if you got people that have never walked a kilometre with a 45 pack.
Yeah, and they at Kapuka they set them up fairly well. They've got them pack marching from like week 2 or something with just really light weights. You get them to walk for a couple of kilometers and you're just easing them into it. And then by the end of it, they might do 10Ks with 30 kilos or something. Because I think that might be the standard for the rest of the army. Like it's quite a bit lower. But then, infantry, that whole training cycle is based on getting them to 15Ks, 45 kilos.
That's crazy.
2.5
not
hours.
hindered, not broken.
Exactly. So when I went to Singleton as a soldier, learning to be an infantry soldier, the corporals there, the infantry corporals, they could do whatever the fuck they wanted, man. Like they could really punish you, and all the punishment is physical. Like,
great.
You've
All
got
the training's fucking physical too.
Dude, it's brutal, man. You're just on your feet from the minute you wake up till when they finally let you go to bed. And you're carrying heavy shit. Like you might have Mag 58 week, which is the machine gun, the big machine gun, and everyone's carrying a fucking Mag 58, and they're making you walk everywhere with it, run everywhere with it. If anyone does anything wrong, you're walking more, you're running more. Or they've got CBR&D week, which is gas training, so like chemical warfare.
Yep.
And you're in these suits that just don't let any air in, obviously, because they can't.
It's bad.
And gas masks. And they like to combine that week with 84 week, which is rocket launches. And so everything you do is put your fucking gas gear on, grab your machine gun or your fucking rocket launcher, and we're off on a run. Yeah.
Go for a run.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, and it was brutal, man. Our training was just so physical. And then when I went back as an instructor, they actually said, as a corporal, I'm not allowed to do anything physical with them. The only punishments or like retraining that I can put the soldiers through is job specific training. So the only thing I can make them do is something that I could ask them to do as an infantry soldier, right? So I can't make them do push-ups because push-ups are an exercise, right? Yeah. And at no part of their job when they're fighting are they going to have to drop down and do push-ups, right?
Yeah, right.
So I could make them crawl. That's a fun one because they have to crawl a lot in infantry.
Yeah. So,
See, I was just thinking,
make them fucking crawl then.
Yeah. But compared to when I went through, I can't make them do exercise because they were finding that a lot of the soldiers were doing their PT in the morning and then getting fucked on by the corporals for the rest of the day, and then the next time they do a PT session, they're broken.
Makes sense.
So yeah, that's pretty hard to kind of juggle, but the army is doing a much better job, I think, now of trying to train people properly. Smarter.
It's weird that you ended up as a coach.
Well, I left the army as a corporal, so I was an instructor, and I really love teaching people. Teaching is one of the things I'm really passionate about. I like helping people learn new things, and then really the process that kind of got me to where I am now is I ended up sitting down one day and just thinking, like, what am I really passionate about? What is the stuff that I do as part of my day-to-day life, whether I'm having a really good day or a really shit day,
Yeah, right.
What do and I just wrote it down. I'm like, am I on my worst possible day? Am I still going to the gym? And I was. It was one of those things that, it would get me through the worst times and it would be part of my best days. You know what I mean?
That's a really good way to look at that. Like, I don't think I've ever, maybe I've heard it spoken about a different way, but the way you like articulated that, finding your passion via identifying what you do no matter what type of day, that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Then you find something you love to do.
Yeah. Because I mean, it was a long process and it didn't happen overnight. Basically, when I left the army, you kind of have no idea what you want to do. And I left on quite a bad note. I was really unhappy with what had happened in the military. I was at a pretty good point in my career, and I'd kind of done everything that I wanted to do in infantry. There's not a lot of progression there. You kind of got two options. You can stay as an infantry soldier and work your way up the ranks and just become like an infantry warrant officer eventually, who's just in charge of more people, basically. You can try for special forces, which is obviously very hard. And when I joined, I really wanted to give that a crack. As I kind of spent more time in infantry, I thought I don't really want to be a better infantry soldier. I mean, infantry is a lot of walking for one, with a lot of weight. And I just got to this point, I remember thinking, I just don't want to walk that much anymore. I don't want to carry all this shit. And I've got some mates who are ex-special forces and are currently special forces, and they're just killing it. They love their job. And I'm sure it would have been an amazing time if I'd tried it and somehow made it. But it just wasn't for me. And I decided instead that I wanted to fly helicopters. So I figured I'd try to corps transfer and become an officer, because you have to be an officer to fly, and then do the pilot training in the army. And so I did all my testing, passed everything, and was pretty much set up to go over to officer training school. And my infantry unit lost my paperwork.
Oh, no.
Put it in a drawer, didn't process it for months. And then by the time I was at Singleton at the time, working as an instructor, by the time I got back to my unit up in Townsville, I got the chance to kind of go, what the fuck, where's my paperwork? And they found it again,
Oh.
sent it in. And then I was told that they wouldn't release me from the unit for 2 more years because they needed infantry qualified instructor corporals to help train the next group of, young infantry soldiers that just got to the battalion. And I pretty much cracked the shits there, and I just said, go fuck yourself, I'm out. And I said to them, if you post me down to Singleton and let me keep being an instructor, I'll stay in infantry until my application can finally be processed, because I was starting to feel some aches and pains. My back was starting to go, my knees starting to go, my shoulders. And I thought, if I stay in the battalion any longer, I might not be able to manage these injuries very well, because it's a very hard life. And to be a pilot, physically you have to be perfect, because they don't want something to go wrong with your body and you crash a multi-million-dollar helicopter with people on board, right? That's bad. So physically you have to be good.
Bad.
That's bad. That's what they call bad in the army. Mostly because the helicopter costs so much money.
More about the helicopter, less about the people in it.
So I thought, well, I can manage my injuries at Singleton pretty well. The training is very structured. It's longer days, but you know exactly what you're doing on every single day of the week, right? And they said no to that too. So I just put my discharge in, was just fed up, basically. Left the army, went to uni and got my grad cert in cybersecurity, counterterrorism. And that took 6 months, and I lived on the sunny coast and worked in a bar for a year while I did that. It was actually a pretty chill life.
I was going to say, it sounds amazing.
That's a different pace.
I was like 50 meters from the beach. Every morning, wake up, go for a swim, head to the gym, work at the bar 3 days a week.
Lovely.
Was good on one hand, like really chill life.
No pack marches.
Singlets every day, thongs, whatever. The downside was I was drinking a lot.
Thirsty.
And like every excuse, you know what I mean? I'm just drinking, smoking, pretty unhealthy life. And I actually remember I lost like maybe 10 kilos while I lived there, just because I was eating like shit. Alcohol was supplementing my diet of hot chips and walking
them carbohydrates.
Walking like kilometers a day in the bar. Like when you work in a bar, you're actually on your feet quite a bit. So
you didn't miss out on the walking. Let's stay.
I didn't realize I trapped myself.
Fuck.
So I did that, and then at the end of this year, I kind of was like, I want to get a real job. And use this degree that I've just grad cert that I've just got, and go and do something in security. And so I figured I'd move to Brisbane, where there might be more opportunities in the security industry. And I was looking physical security, like a private security company, something like that. Maybe do contracting overseas. Nothing really popped up, and I sort of started here with a relationship that ended up not going very far. And I ended up deciding, I need to get any job now. Ended up touching base with another veteran, and we started working at this IT recruiting company. So like kind of cybersecurity stuff, but mostly just recruiting people into IT. I did that for a year, and it wasn't the kind of environment that I really felt comfortable in. Like the office environment, small business, plus a lot of stuff happened there that just didn't really fit well with who I am.
Align with you.
And I ended up saying to them, like about 6 months into it, like I'll work the rest of my year and get my bonuses and stuff, but after that I think I'm done. And while I was working there, I actually was in a motorcycle accident.
Oh god.
And I was riding to work, and a guy pulled out from a stop sign and just stopped in the middle of the road, and I slammed right into his front wheel and flipped up onto his bonnet, and the bonnet actually caught me and probably saved me. The bike was fucked. There's even some dash cam footage of it somewhere of me flying up onto this bike.
I'm glad you're saying this all with a smile now.
Have a giggle now.
I mean, I was fine. I was very lucky. And the last thing I remember thinking as my bike is about to plow into this dude's fucking front wheel is, I cannot believe I'm going to die on the way to this fucking job, man. So that was when I was kind of like, I need to do something.
Right?
I need to,
this is not the job.
I need to do something where I feel like I'm leaning into my values.
Yeah,
I'm doing something that I really enjoy and I'm passionate about. And I don't know what the fuck that is right now, but that's
it's always like those near-death experiences. Always are a catapult to something greater.
And I mean, along the way, there'd been like mental health highs and lows and stuff. And
that's just from your time in the army.
Yeah, I don't like to blame everything on the military. I think there's something to be said for how you're raised, and I have great parents. They're really good people, but I think no matter how you're raised, it's going to set you up for life in a certain way.
Yep.
And then whatever experience you have, pile on top of that, and then in the military, it's not an easy life in mental health regards anyway. Like, I mean, look at the amount of suicides that come out of there that they just can't seem to do anything about. But there is a culture in the military that's very much, especially in infantry, that performance is the most important thing. You need to be able to do your job, and you look down on anybody else as an infantry soldier who cannot keep up. If they are a liability in any way, it's very black and white to you. They may get you killed one day. That's what you're thinking, is this guy can't do X, he's going to get me killed. So something needs to be done about that guy. So the last thing you want to be is that guy, you know what I mean? So you don't ever want to be injured. Physically being injured is just an awful experience in the military from a mental health point of view, because you are shunned. In infantry specifically. I think in the military in general it's a little bit different, but in infantry, physically you need to be very capable. And if anything's popping up, you just ignore it. You don't talk to the doctor. You just, whatever. You don't want to be that guy sent off to rehab platoon, because once you're there, it's very hard to get out of, because you are just treated like shit by everybody else in infantry. Those guys that were your friends or whatever before, now you're that piece of shit that can't keep up, right? So you don't want to go there, and then mental health is just on top of that because you can't see it. Yeah. So at least, like, if I'm the guy with the busted knee who can't walk, I'm in a brace or something.
You can physically see.
Yeah, people look at me and go, okay, there's a reason why he can't do what everyone else is doing. I can physically see that he's got an excuse while the brace is on or whatever. But if it's a mental health thing and you can't see that, there's just, there's no consideration. There's no empathy there for that guy, which is really, really difficult, because you get guys that feel like, probably everyone there feels like they can't talk to anybody about what's going on. And they get into this cycle, this spiral where they think, well, I can't talk to anyone. I'm the weird one. When realistically, there's probably quite a lot of people feeling the exact same way. I'm the weird one. I actually am a piece of shit. I don't deserve to be one of these guys. I don't deserve to be a part of this platoon. I don't deserve to deploy or whatever. And then it just down until eventually, they might take their own life, which is horrible.
100%.
So, that kind of adds on to whatever issues people are experiencing pre-army. And then I find most people in the army, if they can fit in with the boys or, the community now, and they can be part of that, and they sort of find their stride and their pack, whatever, they'll thrive. But then once they leave that very tight community where you're with your friends every single day. You rock up in the army, and it is a lot like being in the gym where you're working, but these are your mates.
You're all suffering together.
Yeah,
even in the gym.
That
if
is
I've programmed you weights. Come across on the other one who's got 8.
Exactly.
That's what Kane always talks about.
Yeah,
is that the comparison of the community you get from powerlifting.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's what eventually drew me to powerlifting. Is I personally believe that powerlifting is the best sport for veterans. I think that every single veteran should be doing strength training because of their injuries. But on top of that, I think that powerlifting is the perfect community because it's competitive, and infantry soldiers are competitive, just their nature. But it's competitive with you. It's not necessarily competitive with the other guy on the platform. You know what I mean? It can be sometimes
100%.
if you're getting good, you know what I mean? But I think the best situation is that guy knows what he's done before, or girl knows what they've done before, and they're just trying to beat it. They're just trying to be a little bit better than they were last time. And I think that is a really, really good thing for someone with that kind of combat mindset who has spent a significant part of their young life potentially trying to be the best. You know what I mean?
100%.
In a culture of excellence where, you know, your physical performance does matter, I think powerlifting is a really good way for them to display that, and they can work around their injuries really well. I think weight training, especially powerlifting, it's really basic. It's really simple. The lifts themselves can become quite complex, as we know. You can really break it all down. But at the end of the day, that guy's just got to, and girls got to go out there and just pick something up or squat something or bench, you know. It's not like we're asking them to
pack march with 45 kilos.
that'd be
or
hard.
play a full game of AFL, which like tactically is there. I mean, endurance-wise there. It's a different sport, and I think it highlights qualities that I think the veteran community really gel with.
Because you coach a lot of veterans now.
All I coach is veterans. At the moment.
Nice.
That's got to be good though.
Yeah. For a while there, they were in the gym all together. You know, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, there was a group of them, and you could really tell that it had a positive impact on these guys' lives. A lot of them, at the start, we worked quite closely with a psychologist who handles a lot of DVA. And all the clients that I saw would also generally see him, you know, for help.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's
for help with their DVA, but also like, and that's how we'd kind of sneak them in there, because it's like these guys would come to me especially and say, oh, you know, I don't need therapy. I just want to lift some weights. Okay, that's cool, but do you have any injuries? Oh, yeah, obviously, because they've been in infantry, you know, something's fucked. And so I go, oh, well, this dude can really help you with DVA. He's a DVA advocate as well. So he can, you know, you got to put your knee claim in or your back claim in or whatever. And then suddenly now they're in a room with a therapist. And because everyone else in the gym is seeing this therapist, now they feel like maybe they can actually share some of the shit they had to go through.
That's fucking so good.
Yeah, so that's how it was working for a while. It wasn't super sustainable, and now the group that we have has kind of like spread out a bit. So it's a much smaller group now. But they do all still see the same psych.
Awesome.
It started off just my mate Dan. He saw this psych for some of the stuff he was going through, and we ended up having a business meeting with him. And now, like, every single dude I was in the army with, that I was in like this close knit group, all of them see him. So really positive, I think, and I really do believe there's a space there for a gym and a psych to work well together. It's quite hard where we are because the gym is loud and the psych needs quiet. You know, you kind of need the right space.
Are you talking about your gym or Valhalla?
No, our gym.
Yeah, that's right.
We're just in Stafford at a place
sick.
called Balanced You. It's just a really small. They do like their head coach Chris is Strong First certified, so he does like kettlebells, bodyweight stuff for Gen Pop. But we've just got a couple of bars and we just put them in the rack and we need plates there. Yeah, so
that's cool, man.
So I think where powerlifting is concerned, it really is. I think it needs to be pushed way harder for veterans.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you get so many guys who leave the army who are like, and girls who say, I just can't do this anymore. You know, I can't
we've had
squat
this
anymore.
Yeah.
I can't bench anymore because of my shoulders. And it's like, no,
we can.
We just find the right way.
A few things.
I guarantee you I can find a way for you to do that again. One of my clients right now, he was in the British Army, actually. And while he was overseas, I think something fell on his leg and just crushed the whole thing. Right? They recode it, rebuilt the whole thing, and his leg, one leg was significantly longer, like this much longer, and
they missed a bit.
Yeah, the busted leg was turned out like on its side. So this guy and he spent years like that until he went to another doctor one day, and he was like, look, this is what happened to me in the military. And I was like, okay, well, let's have a look at you. Stood him up and they're like, no, we need to fucking fix this. So they did surgery again, changed the lengths, whatever magic they do. And now he's back to relatively even. Yeah. And we've got him, he squats, deadlifts, benches. Yeah. And I mean, he's the same guy who's got this fucking shoulder thing going on at the moment. And we've found a way for him to bench. You know, I told you we're using the pin press, you know, something to just allow him to
God, he'd feel good just being able to do that again.
Exactly. So being able to give somebody that opportunity to express themselves physically in a way that they were so sure they could never ever do again, especially coming from, say, infantry, where physicality is such a big part of your life, and having some doctor in the army tell you your career is over because of this injury. You know, you can never do X, Y, and Z ever again. You know, and having them, you know, come to someone like me, who I'm not a doctor, I don't have that many fucking qualifications. I've got a fucking Cert 4 and now the Epic coaching course, and I've just read an absolute shitload of stuff from Westside and from Dave Tate at Elite FTS. And all of that stuff I've just combined into, I can help you move again. We will find a way. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I will do everything I can to take as much of your pain away just from movement. And we'll work with the psych, and we'll work with your doctors, and I promise you, you'll feel strong. Potentially stronger than you've ever felt in your entire life.
Fuck, that's
a very, very powerful feeling for them, no doubt.
I think, and vets need to feel empowered, because when you're in the military, you do feel powerful. You know what I mean? You got a gun. And like, you're one of the only people in Australia who gets to walk around with a gun sometimes. And that's, I mean, it might be like toxic masculinity or something, but that they do want you to feel strong. They want you to feel invincible, because they don't want you as an infantry soldier going over to fight whatever war and feeling like you can't win, right?
It makes sense in that scenario.
Psychologically, they need people thinking, I cannot be killed, you know, no matter what.
As you say, like on the flip side, they're not really taking into account when that army doctor saying you'll never do this again. Yeah, it's a massive hit to their mental health. And then these are guys who are already preconditioned to never want to talk about that stuff anyway. So you're destroying their ego, you're destroying their whole self-esteem, basically, with something like that. And then you're kicking them out of the only support network they've had for the past however many years. So, and then the DVA system is in place to handle claims, which basically they provide compensation for, financial compensation for what the military is responsible for. That's their job. Their job traditionally is not to support these people. It's to put a number on the damage the military did. So they go, well, we assess that we've done $100,000 worth of damage. So we're going to give you $100,000, and that should fix the problem. But you've got guys with mental health issues who...
Money doesn't necessarily fix mental health.
Money now means more alcohol, more drugs, a new car, you know.
Anything to distract. And...
It's not... So now there's the Royal Commission into veteran suicide happening right now. And there's going to be some big changes, I think. And there are organisations out there that support veterans and do their best to provide that mental health lifeline. But I mean, there's like tens of thousands apparently of veteran charities all trying to do the same thing. And I just don't think any of them are really on the same page, or a lot of them aren't. And you've got organizations for the last generation of soldiers. You've got organizations for my generation. You've got organizations for the newest generation. And we're different people, you know what I mean? The guys that went to Vietnam are different to the guys that went to Afghanistan, are different to the guys that are in now who might not have done anything, might not have been overseas, I mean. So, and we all have different life priorities. What works for the Vietnam vet may not work for us. So it is really, really tough for these charities to try and help. And I would say the easiest way really is money, because it's like, if we give you enough money, that financial stress is no longer as big of a deal. But at the same time, you give money to someone who doesn't know how to spend or save.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's a problem, right?
Again, like you're 17-year-old bloke going to the military. You're getting a paycheck, you're spending it. They're not teaching you how to save it, because you'll one day not be able to be in the army anymore, possibly.
Exactly. There was a time in the military where I was getting paid well, like $70K a year, and I'm paycheck to paycheck.
Mhm.
Like, and I'm living on base where I don't pay rent.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, all that money is
There's some
alcohol,
alcohol. You
right?
have to do
It's
alcohol.
it's all KFC and piss, man. Like,
Look, the KFC, I'll let you slide there. It's
If
the
you're
pi-
drinking on barracks, I think the beer's cheap too.
well, they don't sell beer on base anymore.
Oh.
Apparently, yeah.
I wonder why.
Because
Marshall's.
yeah, you have $900 weekends every weekend.
Fuck, no.
From the tap, thanks.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, so it's a complex problem,
Fucking no.
but I
man,
think there's a place for powerlifting.
There is, and I like your
in there.
approach, what you're
Shit.
doing, working closely with someone who can support, like you're supporting them physically, getting them to feel that, and you're coupling it with the work you're doing with the psych, obviously trying to look after their mental health. It seems like a really effective approach. I obviously know of a few charities that are trying to do something similar, but
Yeah.
I think you're right. They missed the point in what benefit could be provided just from that competitive that comes with strength training.
Yeah.
And then obviously the work you're doing on the side with the mental health is just unreal.
Squats for everyone.
Yeah,
know.
that's what I say. I'm like, you gotta work hard.
Yeah, 100%.
You've got to squat. It's the number one thing that I will not compromise
Yeah.
on. Every single person that I train is squatting.
Now, obviously, you've powerlifted. Obviously, I mean, I coach you, but
You could coach me in ballet.
I could. Fucking no, I couldn't. I was just thinking, it's like, I was trying to make a joke.
You could do anything.
I have one question after your last powerlifting, mate. Now, feel free to knock this back, but
Yeah.
your final deadlift.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we said, I was like, oh, 255 is probably there. I think you were like, nah, 260.
I
260.
said my words were, "I'll fucking do it."
Yeah. And I was like, you know, as a coach, I'm sure John, I mean, all three of us would be able to attest that when you have a client that comes to you that confident, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So we put that on. What the fuck did Kane say to you before you went out? Because honestly, I walked past, I heard probably like 2 seconds of it,
Yeah.
and I had goosebumps. I was like,
and before I lift, especially in comp, I don't know if you guys have seen like Dave Tate talk about the void.
yeah, fucking oath, baby.
Yeah, I am in a different place. Like, I don't really remember what happens when I lift on the platform. I kind of black out a little bit. I just go out there and just fucking hit it as hard as I can.
You're a savage.
But from what I remember, he was pretty much saying, "That's me on the battlefield. Don't fucking leave me there." And so yeah, I picked it up.
What'd you get? 260?
260, yeah.
Ooh, 6
No,
wheels.
I think we
in
had
the
a little
old
bit
money.
left in the tank, actually.
Yeah, we did after that. And then,
Yeah.
like, as I said, I've told a few people post, like, since Battling Valhalla only a couple of weeks ago, when this comes out, probably a month ago. But I just, like, I would have run through a brick wall if Kane said that to me.
Yeah.
And I have no affiliation to the army, what that means, but, like,
Mm.
that
Yeah.
fucking hit.
Kane is a good hype man.
Fucking
I'll say
oath.
that. And I think that's another thing that is so great about powerlifting is the atmosphere at a meet.
Mm.
It's just a game changer, you know. You can do, and I personally prefer the training like to a meet. That's why I don't really want to compete more than say once or twice a year. They're fun, but I really love training. I just love going to the gym a couple times a week.
Bashing
And
some kilos.
yeah, and chipping away. I'm a really methodical person, and that
Never
process, that process for me is it's quite relaxing and it's a big part of my routine. I really don't like saying the gym is therapy because I don't think it is. I
Mm.
think people need to really think
Therapy
about
is
what
therapy.
they're saying. Therapy is therapy. That's
And it's
exactly right.
And, you know, I've had this discussion recently. You triggered me a little bit about it because it's not therapy. Like,
No.
I pay a lot of money
Yeah,
at the moment weekly to see my therapist.
A very
and you
qualified-
should
A
because
very
they're-
qualified
yeah,
person to do some
they are
shit.
the experts.
They are the expert.
Yeah.
I'm not your therapist.
Yeah,
This ain't therapy.
No.
This can be like a way for you to release some emotion that's probably built up,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But it ain't therapy. It ain't helping you deal with shit.
no, it's helping you ignore stuff.
It
Actually,
literally, it is
Yeah.
helping you distract from the stuff that you probably need to address. If
Yeah.
you are using it to release, there's probably something that needs to be spoken about.
Absolutely. And
Anyways.
it's biologically it's added stress too. Like we know
Yeah.
as coaches, what you go in and do is actually going to potentially make your mental health worse
Yeah.
in the long run.
We're adding physical stress
Yeah,
on
yeah.
top of the emotional stress.
We are dumping cortisol right back into your system and making it harder for you to recover. Plus, what's said about the central nervous system. I mean, these people are coming out of a big session probably in a worse place mentally than they were going in. They might feel like they're in a better spot.
They've got endorphins running through them.
Yeah. adrenaline.
When that
and-
adrenaline jumps off and that cortisol's
Yeah.
still pumping,
exactly.
you're gonna feel pretty shit.
So you're right. Therapy is therapy, and you need to pay an expert to help you with that stuff.
On the flip side of that, you going to therapy and having like a huge emotional dump, you're gonna feel just as shit as if you
Exhausting,
just
man.
squatted fucking
Oh yeah,
your max. Like you're
Exhausting.
gonna feel ruined.
yeah. So I think they work hand in hand. I think they work really well together. But the gym is not going to help your mental health.
No,
Um,
I think it will assist, but and also if you're having like, this is just a bit of a public service announcement. If you're having like hectic sessions at therapy, tell your coach.
absolutely, tell your
Like
coach.
we're gonna pull back some numbers because
Yeah.
as you just said, we're not adding to it. We're not
You might
helping.
need to deload a little bit this week.
100%. There's a couple of
Yeah.
weeks here where you'll probably have 80% of what you've done. Who cares? It's not gonna affect the end meat.
But it's
Yeah.
0%.
100%.
yeah.
It is much better than zero. Something's better than nothing. Speak to your coach. Thanks, boys.
Yeah.
I need to get that one off my chest clearly.
That's actually been one of the hardest things for me as a coach because I love training and I love teaching, but I am not a very good people person. Which, as a
It's tricky
coach,
past a lot of people in the coaching
You
industry.
say that. You say that, but I fucking love you. I reckon you're great.
I thank you, but I do know I'm very conscious that I have quite a long warm up period to someone. I'm not going to meet someone and straight away be their best mate. You know, I find it quite hard to engage with someone that I don't know, and it's just one of those things. Like appearance wise, also.
Yeah, look, if I
I feel
saw you
like
down a
it's-
dark alley, I'm walking the other way.
Especially say in the gym where like I know when I go to Valhalla I have a lot in common with these people, right? We all love powerlifting, otherwise we wouldn't be there. But when I don't have my hat and glasses on, you've said I look like a completely different person.
Yeah.
I also can't fucking see anything. Like I literally
I
can't
don't know
see
who the
like
person is in front of me.
yeah, dude, like I can't see across the gym. Everything's blurry. So I'm like squinting all the time and I just look like this angry fucking dude who like I'm trying to figure out just what's going on.
John,
really
minutes
quite
away.
happy.
I
Just
think it
can't see anyone.
Yeah.
Jamie and I were saying, like, fuck me. Like, you sometimes in the gym, you're like, he's just like John Wick and he would fucking rip your head off in a second.
I'm blind. It's
It's actually,
it.
I'm a giant pussy. I'm just blind.
when I was working at the IT recruiting company, I didn't have glasses yet, and I got into a lot of trouble for being too intimidating, apparently.
Oh.
And I'd been out of the army like a year or whatever. I have a very specific way of communicating with people. I use my hands. I'm very direct. I'm confident about the things that I'm putting out there. And when I do that, apparently it doesn't leave a lot of room for other people's personalities to thrive. Plus, no glasses, resting bitch face, and I'm just fucking confused about everything that's going on in the
You
room
can't see anyone.
in my eyes. So I just look like I'm kind of death staring every single motherfucker in the boardroom. And I found that when I got glasses, because I finally realized I can't fucking see this screen fucking 5 meters away from me. I get glasses, and I had a bunch of people come up to me like, "Oh, you look so much more friendly. You look like you've got something to contribute now." Exact words, by the way. Those were
Oh,
exact words.
Jesus.
You look like you've got something to contribute. You just don't. You look like, much more welcoming. And I'm like, cool. I'm never getting fucking contacts. Thank you for confirming that. I'm going to keep
That's-
the glasses
I love
because
that.
people actually seem to think I'm a friendly person.
Mate, that's
Little
unreal.
do they know.
Yeah.
Yeah, little do they know.
Mate, we as we wrap up, we've got 10 very fucking random questions.
Yeah, let's go.
And like they're short, sharp. Well,
I'll keep them short. I'm bad
we,
at that, but
we say short and sharp, but they're fucking deep, provoking.
Mhm.
Anyways,
I'll do
I'm
my
gonna-
best to keep it succinct then.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You are Neo in the Matrix. You can have the red pill and find out the truth, of the blue pill and continue not knowing. What would you like?
It's the truth every time.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I've got to know. I always have to know the answer. I'm like one of those people that I cannot stop once I've started.
Yeah.
I've got to know.
What is your favorite lunch item, sir?
Oof. It's chicken and rice. I know it's boring, but
Straight up.
I like something that's easy to make.
I like that.
Yep.
What movie setting would you like to live in?
I reckon I would have thrived in the medieval times.
Oh, yeah, you would.
God, you wouldn't.
I
You wouldn't
think-
be wearing glasses
I
then.
think it would be quite fun.
Holy
For
fuck.
my
you-
30 short years, I think I would have done some damage.
Best advice you've ever been given?
Probably from my mum and dad, and they just told me to, do what I love. Do your best.
Good
That's
advice.
I think it's keep it simple. Just do your best.
What question would you ask your pet?
Oh man, why are you such a fuckwit? Honestly, I ask him that every day. I have a cat, right? He's an adopted cat, and he is just the neediest little piece of shit. I love him, right? I love this little guy, but why do you do the things that you do, man?
Would you rather a cake or a pie?
Cake. I would say, yeah, cake.
What board or card game are you exceptional at?
I would say I'm pretty good at Monopoly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite pizza?
Meat lovers. It's an easy one.
Next tattoo?
I want to get my whole leg done.
Ooh, very nice.
Do you guys know Depth Before Dishonor?
Yeah.
The company? I just want to cover myself in all of their artwork. That's this one here. Is their samurai with a barbell through him?
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And I asked them if I could put that on me, and they're like, "Yeah, if I can go hard." I'm like, "Well, I'm going to do the rest of you."
I'm doing the rest. You're told you have 1 week to live. What are you doing?
I'd like to say the same shit that I'm already doing, but I would probably be spending even more time with my partner.
Yeah.
And with whatever friends I can get to at the time. We're pretty spread out, but I'd be getting on a plane or go and see my parents. Like just those. I think the relationships are the things that matter most.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would be with them.
That's fucking great.
Yeah,
Mate, that's I don't know. I'm kind of like, it was a great podcast is what I'm trying to say.
thank you.
I think, there was a lot of things that you said will resonate with a lot of people.
I hope so.
And like you coming in the gym is such just, as you said, quiet guy. You get your job done. You don't say much. You just fucking.
I am there for a reason.
You literally
I love the work.
Yeah, he loves
Yeah.
it. So like this other side that I think people will see is gonna be fucking. It's just brilliant.
Thank you.
So before we wrap up, as always, we're gonna do that social media thing.
Oh yeah.
Where can people find you if they want to get in touch about?
Don't follow me. Just follow Anvil. Right. I am on private. I'm boring. I never fucking post anything.
Nothing there.
Right. But Anvil is mine and my business partner's company. He is also a veteran. He does all the work, and he works really fucking hard. So,
I love that. It's like, don't fucking add me.
Yeah. Just follow Anvil.
Get on it.
Anvil.
Anvil TD.
I will put that in the
Anvil
show
Strength or
notes
something.
so we can just direct
Yeah.
people away from you and to him.
Yeah.
That's-
Follow that. We make custom training belts.
Some nice ones too.
Yeah.
That's fucking great, mate. Thank you so much for coming on and giving us your time.
Thanks for the invite, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it,
It's
guys.
fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Man, what you're doing work is important, so fucking let's direct people there.
I'm doing my best, Thanks, mum and dad.
That's stuff.